Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, once again we are sitting here to share Dhamma knowledge with you. Prior to that, we would like to invite all the divine beings to join us and listen to the Dhamma talk with you all. You may say 3 times sadhu before starting. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Samantha Chakravalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Sadhammang Muni Rajas Sunantu Sangha Mokkedang Dhammak savene kalu ayang badanta Dhammak savene kalu ayang badanta Dhammak savene kalu ayang badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Sabba dhanang dhamma dhanang jinati Sabba rasan dhamma rasan jinati Sabba rating dhamma rating jinati Tanhakkayo sabba dukkhañ jinati. Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, again and again I wish you a good day and happy day and happy full moon day. Having wished in this manner, once again I am here to talk something about very important thing based on the teachings of the Buddha in order to appease you, in order to lead you to the path of attainment of Nibbana. As we in the morning discussed the full moon day, Poson full moon day, I would like to introduce this day as the day of the Dhamma. The Vesak full moon day we had last month, it's the day of the enlightenment. This day I would like to name as the day of the Dhamma. As I explained, the Buddhism was officially introduced to Sri Lanka on Puson full moon day like today 2000 years ago. After that, due to so many difficulties, disasters and problems, threats in the Buddhist countries like Thailand, Myanmar and some other countries, Buddhism disappeared. After that, Sri Lanka could, as a Buddhist country, to gift again Buddhism to those countries and re-establish Buddha's order. After that, again, Sri Lanka also got problems. On a certain occasion, Buddhism disappeared. In that case, Thailand, Myanmar especially helped Sri Lankans in giving ordination and higher ordination to re-establish Buddhism in Sri Lanka. In this manner, because of our mutual friendships, as Buddhists, we could share the Buddha's order in order to learn the Dhamma, in order to teach the Buddha's Dhamma, because without learning, without practicing, without teaching of the Buddha's doctrine, we are unable to understand. Buddha's teaching can be understood by Buddha himself only as a self-understanding person. If we want to understand and attain the Nibbana, we have to listen to his talk and study. That's why teaching and learning process in Buddhist country about the teachings of the Buddha has been a major role and important matter. You see, as I can remember, I might have told this verse, Samanamayan Maharaja Dhammarajasa Savaka Thameva Anukampaya Jambudipa Idagata. Venerable Arahant Mahinda and his missionary group landed in Sri Lanka. After their arrival, they met the King of Sri Lanka, His Majesty Devanam Piyatissa. When they meet our King, Venerable Arahant Mahinda introduced himself and the missionary groups to the King, saying that verse, Samanamayan Maharaja Dhammarajasa Savaka Thameva Anukampaya Jambudipa Idagata. What is the meaning of this verse uttered by Venerable Mahinda Theru? Actually, he is the second Buddha to all Sri Lankans and all the South Asian countries and all the Theravada Buddhists in the world today. Because of his introduction of the Dhamma to Sri Lanka, today in the world Theravada Buddhism appears pure and correctly. Samanamayan Maharaja. Maharaja, your majesty. Samanamayan, we are monks. Dhammarajasa Savaka, we are monks. Your majesty, disciples of the king of the Dhamma. Who is the king of the Dhamma? That is our Buddha, the exalted one, the fully enlightened one. He is the king of the Dhamma because he expounded this doctrine himself. No one taught him, no one preached him, no one guided him. Without others' teaching, without other guidance, instructions or advice, he himself expounded. So, this is his property. This belongs to him. That's why he becomes the king for the teachings. These teachings are coming from him. So, he is the king of the Dhamma. We are disciples of that king of the Dhamma. Thameva Anukampaya. With loving kindness towards you all, we came from India. Jambudipa Idagata. We came here from India. Jambudipa means the another name, the oldest name during that time used for India. This verse clearly mentions the purpose of the missionary group of Venerable Arahant Mahinda. He says, disciples of the King of the Dhamma. Disciples of the King of the Dhamma means the purpose is to disseminate or spread the teachings of the King of the Dhamma, his message. That means they came to teach the teachings of the Buddha to the Sri Lankans. As a result, what happened is, during the period of the kingdom of Anuradhapura, brothers and sisters, for the first time in the history, Buddha's teachings are written down in palm leaves in Pali. Today, all Theravada Buddhists refer to Pali text Tripitaka. That is written by Sri Lankan erudite monks who practice and who continue to keep in memory the teachings of the Buddha in order to use effectively and effortfully to the people of future generations. Then, because of that, today in Malaysia, Buddhist Mahavihara got Tripitaka, canonical text, and Thailand, Myanmar, and other Asian, Western, and African countries got Tripitaka, Buddha's teaching in the books. You can read anytime, at any time, anywhere you can read. This is because of the instructions and the establishment of Buddha's order in Sri Lanka. As a result, our Sri Lankan Buddhist people migrated to Malaysia and built the Buddhist Mahavihara to do the same service, to spread the Buddha's doctrine throughout Malaysia in order to support all Buddhist people to understand and earn the inner happiness of spirituality. And there are many temples. Then when we go to your neighbor country, Thailand, Myanmar, in this sense, the same Tripitaka now can be seen, the text of the teachings of the Buddha. This is because of the loving kindness, compassionate, altruistic joys, and equanimity cultivated by monks who practice Buddha's teachings as the disciples. They taught what they understood. The teachings of the Buddha were written down in the books in order to use by the future generations. We utilize today. Without this doctrine, no one can learn anything. What Buddha said. You realize on this topic, on certain topics, Buddha has a view, his notions, his attitudes, the descriptions from the Buddha Sutras, everything because of a result of that great and sacred activity. Brothers and sisters, I need to tell you and make you understood the importance of this service that is called Dhammadana. I know BMV YouTube channel for Dhamma Talks, Dhammadana series it is named as. Why we use the term Dana for these teachings? It's a Dana. Really, we want to know whether it's a Dana. Yes, of course, it's a Dana. It's a great Dana. It is the greatest among the Dana. Why? The term Dana when we define its meaning, we can clearly understand giving something without expecting nothing in return. Expecting nothing in return. Giving something, expecting nothing in return. In the same manner, teaching the doctrine of the Buddha, expecting nothing in return and supporting you to cultivate noble qualities such as Four Noble Abodes and telling you to the way of the detachment of the defilements and supporting you to remove hatred, anger, jealousy. In this manner, if we can teach the teachings of the Buddha in order to practice thinking about your spiritual happiness, expecting nothing in return, just expecting your attainment of Nibbana, this teaching of the Dhamma is called, we are giving the gifts of the Dhamma to you. The Pali word for that is Dhammadana. It's Dhammadana. Giving knowledge of the Dhamma, experiences of the Dhamma, how Buddha taught, how he recommended the way of practice, explaining you, clarifying them to you to understand free of charge. That is called Dhammadana, because we teach his doctrine, not ours. This is also some part of Dana. Dana is categorized into three folds: Amisadana, Abedana, and Dhammadana. As you know already, Amisadana is giving or offering alms to the monks with material objects. You can offer food, drinks, clothes, robes, and houses or residences or any other physical materials to the Mahasangha. Whatever you offer physically, that is Amisadana for the usage or the utility of the venerables and those who are needed. On the other hand, Abedana, second category, consisting of your dedication to protect others' lives. Maybe protecting others' lives, not allowing them to die or destroy their life. Maybe from the king or the government or thieves or any other people. Maybe from murderers. If you can protect someone's life, it would be a abedana, giving chances to live peacefully and protecting others' lives. For example, if you go to the tank to you see some ants in the water, you take them and put them away from the water and you save their life. That is called Amisadana. But my purpose in this talk is not to discuss about Abedana. That is called Abedana. My purpose is not to talk the Abedana or Amisadana. The third category is Dhammadana, generosity. Dana means the generosity. My aim is to teach you something good from the teachings of the Buddha about the last category, Dhammadana. It can define again and again as the teaching of the teachings of the Buddha. We teach Buddha's teachings to you. We gift the teachings of the Buddha to you. That is called Dhammadana. So, some say Dhamma Puja, Dhammadana Puja, Amisadana Puja, but in think of that, those categorizers are a little bit different from the term Dhammadana, its meaning. Whatsoever, when we refer to the term Dhammadana, it talks about certain attributes or the skills of venerables or the speaker. The ability to preach clearly without problems. It's an ability. It's a skill. Dhammadana. Some people are in this world, they are unable to preach. When they are unable to preach, others cannot understand. In the same manner, when the speaker of the Dhamma is unable to preach, so how you can understand? That's why it means it's a skill or an ability of the speaker to make you understood. If we have ability to describe, explain, clarify the matters from something with references to the main sources without damaging the meaning and the context, we should do that. We have to preach in this manner. We have to utilize that ability, using that ability and supporting others to understand something after talking, that is called Dhammadana, especially Buddha's teaching. So then you can suspect, you can think like Bhante, like some other speakers, you may compare, you may reflect on you and you may compare with others. I cannot do like that. Don't worry, I will explain that part as well. If you are unable to preach, I will give some example how you can contribute in giving Dhamma as a dana. You think you are going to a hospital. Now you look at the persons. Doctors come and treat them. The person who preached the Dhamma to support in order to attain you the Nibbana, the duty is just like a doctor. Just like a doctor. You are going to hospital. In the same manner, you are not a doctor. How you can support these patients to be free from their suffering? As doctors, if you can do, you would be more happy. But you cannot do. You cannot be happier in that manner. However, in treating the patient, you can be happy. Maybe you prepare the food, you prepare the water, suitable drinks, you wash their clothes and clean the room. What the doctor prescribes as the medication, you go and buy and give the patient on the proper time. You treat in this manner. You follow the doctor's instruction. In the same manner, if you are unable to explain and describe, you can promote Buddhism. You let others to listen to the Dhamma. You arrange the Dhamma talks. You invite the speakers and invite your friends, then relatives, neighbors. In this manner, you use your contacts and ask them to come and listen. Then you support them to listen and utilize those practices to attain Nibbana. Maybe the speaker can give a long talk, you can record and you can send it to your friends using the technological devices, like the thing that right now that Buddhist Mahavihara is doing. And also you can share using your social apps. You can put them into CD, record in CD and can distribute free of charge. And also you can invite dummy speakers to write their speech as an article or book on a certain topics. Then you can publish, otherwise you can donate your money to the printing of the publications of the Dhamma book. In this manner, brothers and sisters, you can be a person who has the contact in giving Dhamma as a dana. This is the way we have to utilize our skills if we are unable to preach. But clearly right now, I would like to explain you to how we can practice this in our life. This is the most important dana. Once upon a time, during the time of the Buddha, actually the king of the gods, you know, that Sakka, he comes to the Buddha with 4 questions. Before coming, he called all the deities in the heaven, asked, what is the best among the gifts? What is the best among the tastes? What is the best among the delights? Why the eradication of the craving said to be good? Please answer my 4 questions. None of the deities could. After that, the Sakka, king of the Deva, decided to take all the deities and come to the Buddha. After coming to the Buddha, the same questions were presented to him. My Lord, Blessed One, what is the best among the gifts? What is the best among the taste? What's the best among the happiness or delights? Why eradication of craving is to be said good? Please, my Lord, answer to my questions. Then the Buddha said this stanza that I repeated at the beginning. Sabba dhanam dhamma dhanam jinati, sabba rasan dhamma rasan jinati, sabba ratin dhamma ratin jinati, tanhakkayo sabba dukkham jinati. You see, all the sentences, 4 sentences or the lines of this stanza ends with the term jinati. What is the jinati means? It means win. How we can win? Sabba dhanam dhamma dhanam jinati. Among all the danas in the world, Dhammadana is the best. That means all the material and some other all the danas are defeated by the dana of Dhamma. If you teach the Dhamma to someone, it is the best. Why? Whatever you do as dana offering to the Mahasangha during the lifetime, more than that, among those danas, if you teach 1 day to 1 hour to someone one Dhamma matter, it would be the best. So you can win. Without understanding, no one can attain the Nibbana. To understand, we need the explanations or the instructions of the Buddha. Dhamma means Buddha's instructions. When you explain someone to understand some Dhamma matters, that means you are explaining the Buddha's instructions, supporting him to understand and attain Nibbana. So more than treating someone to be free from temporarily from the hunger, it is best because he can enjoy that Dhamma matter throughout his entire lifetime. Maybe that practice will cause to next births. Then in next lives also he can practice and continue. Then the second term, Sabba Rasan Dhamma Rasanjinati. Among the taste in this world, the taste of the Buddha, Dhamma, taste of the Dhamma is the best. You can taste the taste of food, drinks or anything. But when you enjoy the Dhamma, when you understand the reality, the taste of the Dhamma, the taste of the reality will tell you it is the best. We all like to listen to the true words. We all like to understand the reality, true nature of the world. In this manner, the Dhamma, when it supports in explaining and understanding us, making us understood, we will enjoy the taste of the Dhamma. Sabba ratin Dhamma ratin jinati. Among the delights in the world, the delights you earn from the understanding of the Dhamma, it would be the best. At last, the Buddha says, as the answer to the last question of Sakka, why the eradication of craving is said to be good? The Buddha says, because of the eradication or exterminating the craving from the minds, you will attain the Nibbana. Attainment of the Nibbana means, brothers and sisters, it is called the ultimate freedom from all kinds of suffering. If you can be free from all kinds of suffering, that is the most important thing. To be free from all kinds of suffering, actually the main cause is behind the process of attainment of the Nibbana, understanding the Dhamma correctly. Understanding the Dhamma correctly. Therefore, if we can teach the Buddha's Dhamma, and if we can give our knowledge, if we can share our Dhamma knowledge correctly, based on the Buddha's teaching with others, it would be the best dana in the world. So, when you come to Dhamma school and teach at Dhamma school to the children, it would be a Dhamma dana in your life. If you invite Dhamma speakers, if you coordinate Dhamma programs to speak in programs, and also if you publish the Dhamma book, if you write an article about the topics of the Buddhism to the newspaper, Facebook or social app or anyone, it would be a part of giving Dhamma dana. So it would be the best. The main target or the main process to attain Nibbana is understanding. To understand, we have to tell others, we have to teach. That's why in fulfillment of the 10 perfection, under the first perfection, Dana Parami, giving generosity, perfection of the generosity, Dhamma Dana, sharing the knowledge, teaching the Dhamma to others comes as a dana, as a practice. Without completing this practice, no one can become a Buddha, no one can become a Pacceka Buddha or an Arahant. That's why we have to consider. You think now we have the Buddha's order during this time. Buddha's doctrine is written down in books. In printed version, you can take and you can read. What about you read? We think, we ask, we advise always, brothers and sisters, please practice Sila. Please practice Dana. Please practice meditation, Bhavana. If you want to attain Nibbana. We tell just you do. But you don't know how to do. If you need to practice Dana, there is a way. You have to learn the way. If you want to learn the way, brothers and sisters, you have to refer to the Buddha's doctrine, how he has recommended to practice Dana. Giving the talks, sharing the knowledge from the sutras of the Buddha, from the instructions of the Buddha to you is Dhammadana, Dhamma talks. We ask you to observe 5 precepts, 8 precepts, and the other high precepts. You need to know the process. Explanation of the process is giving Dhamma, giving knowledge from the Buddha's instruction. It is Dhammadana. When you go to meditation program, we need to introduce meditation to you. Then we are careful to tell you correctly the way and the methods of practice of the meditation. It has become a Dhamma sharing. The explanation is the talk or the discussion about the meditation based on the teachings of the Buddha correctly. It would be a sharing of the Dhamma. That is called Dhammadana. I need to tell you there are 2 categories of Dhammadana. In Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka, we meet this Dhammadana. When we go to Abhidhamma Pitaka, the term Dhammadana is used for another dana. The same word is used but with different meanings. In Abhidhamma Pitaka, if you give the food, through the food, if you share with the person who receives those food, oja and jivita. In this manner, if you contribute some physical energies that cannot be visibly seen, that is also called Dhammadana in Abhidhamma Pitaka, but it is not teaching the Dhamma. It is different from. I wanted to tell this. Sometimes when you refer the text or the materials, reading materials after this, you might have questions. Bhante, there are 2 explanations about the Dhammadana. One is giving food, one is teaching the Buddha's doctrine. What is the difference? The teaching the doctrine of the Buddha to understand you, in supporting you to attain Nibbana, guiding you, that is Dhammadana. That is the real Dhammadana. That is the best one that we meet. The other one, giving food or something to create your energies, which comes in Abhidhamma Pitaka, it is also Dhammadana, but it is not the Dhammadana that we teach about the teaching of the Buddha. So you have to think of that difference when you read. In this manner, brothers and sisters, teaching of the Buddha is more important to learn and teach. You know, the Buddha has introduced 3 ways of attainment of Nibbana. Anyone can practice to be an Arahant and attain the Nibbana through Arahanthood. Secondly, anyone can wish to attain Nibbana as an individual Buddha. And also lastly, anyone can wish to attain Nibbana as the fully enlightened one, having become a Samma Sambuddha. If you want to attain the Nibbana through Savaka Bodhi. Savaka Bodhi means the Arahanthood. As an Arahant, like the Arahants Sariputta, Arahant Mahamoggallana, Arahant Mahakassapa, you can become a main disciples of Buddha and can attain Arahanthood and Nibbana. In this manner, if you want to attain Nibbana, you are taught how to practice the practices. Then you are taught the process of practice of 10 perfection, sila, then how to observe precepts, how to control your bodily and mentally, verbally and mentally actions. You are taught the descriptions and practice of the samatha and vipassana meditation. You are taught what kind of spiritual powers that you can gain after the attainment of the Nibbana. In this manner, you are taught the miracles that you can show after the attainment of Nibbana as an Arahant. To know all those facts, you have to learn from the Buddha's doctrines. We have to teach those things. Without teachings, you cannot learn. If teachings means verbally teaching, sometimes the written books, printed books, you can read. You can read and tell, Bhante, I read this from a book. I could understand it from a book, not from a teaching of someone. If you think in that manner, that's wrong. That writing is also coming from someone. Time to time, language is changed. The oldest language, perhaps you cannot understand. Then the people who understand the oldest language have to adjust the sentences and the words without damaging the meaning to suit you to read. Then it is also coming from someone who preferred to share his knowledge with you without expecting anything. Then there is someone behind that. That means you learn from someone. So, to understand all the process, you have to be taught. In case of the Pacceka Buddhahood or Samma Sambuddhahood, if someone wish to attain Nibbana, choosing either one, brothers and sisters, more than the Arahants, you are taught to practice the 10 perfection. You need to know each steps of 10 perfections and the various practices in Buddhism, moral practices, how to be polite in bodily, verbally and mentally actions, and how to cultivate the noble qualities in the mind, how you have to dedicate your life and time in order to fulfill the 10 perfection. In this manner, lots of things there are. You have to learn. To learn that one, someone has to teach you. Without teaching, you cannot do that one. Even Buddha also, you may read the Jataka stories and some other stories. All the doctrine taught by the Buddha, he has also learned before the attainment of the Nibbana from various people, various speakers. Maybe those speakers were the enlightened ones, Arahants, and some other experts in Dhamma during the previous Buddha's orders. Jataka stories provide the evidences. In this manner, he also was taught by someone. After learning, after doing so many efforts in this life, he himself understood the reality. So, if you want to understand the reality and attain the Nibbana without others' guidance, you have to become a Samma Sambuddha. To become the Samma Sambuddha in previous lives of the Bodhisattva, you have to learn from someone. You have to cultivate, you have to dedicate. All the things have to be taught. Therefore, teaching the Dhamma, guiding people to learn the Dhamma in giving instructions is the best dana in the world. That's why dissemination of Buddha's order with the Dhamma, spread of the Buddha's order, especially propagating Dhamma, publishing Dhamma, delivering talks, giving Dhamma speech, giving Dhamma talks, conducting Dhamma discussion, publishing the Dhamma in printed materials like book, articles, or any other, and using technological devices like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Viber, whatsoever technological devices. If you can utilize to deliver the message of the Buddha, it would be the best. Just think in simple way. You send the good morning messages to all the brothers and sisters in your WhatsApp contacts. Don't write just good morning only. Just write some simple advices of the Buddha. For example, death is certain, life is uncertain. In this manner, in 2 or 3 words, you can give the message of the Buddha. It also would be a message of the Buddha. In this manner, if you teach the doctrine of the Buddhas, and also if you support us to, if you support people to understand and learn in teaching the Dhamma, it would be the best dana that you give ever in this life. It will cause you to realize Dhamma maybe in this life and also in the next lives to end up your samsaric journey. I think this would be enough for you all to understand how the sharing Dhamma, preaching Dhamma as a dana is important. Now I would like to open the session for the questions. You can ask the question and I would be very happy to answer you. So I got at once one question. Bhante, as you had mentioned, the Buddha's teachings are over 2,600 years old, and it was a long time since the Buddha word was put into writing, and since then there has been many different interpretations to the teaching. How are we to know if what we are read or listen the original teachings of the Buddha and not somebody's interpretation? Actually, very easy. The just simple answer, you know, until the writing down of the teachings in the books, it was brought by generation to generation in memory, keeping in memory. Verbally they recite and keep in the memory. Verbally they recite and keep in the memory. You say, refer to your national anthem in Malaysia. From generation to generation, you can keep it in the memory because it's a practice in the country. In a monk's life during that time, keeping, reciting the Buddha's words, memorizing them, it was a normal habit. It was a major habit. So they didn't forget. On the other hand, they had a fear if someone forgot all those doctrines, if we study all the doctrines, they had a problem. Therefore, they created the Banaka Parampara, generations of the Banakas. For example, Venerable Sariputta's disciples were given to continue the Diganikaya, keeping them in the memory. 32 suttas only, very easy. In this manner, there were Banaka generations, Banaka Parampara, generations of the monks who kept in memory all those doctrine, maybe in that manner, Banaka Parampara, memory keepers of the monks who kept the certain sections of the doctrine continued until that period. They all gathered, they all decided. There were disasters during that time, without food, without water during the Anuradhapura period in Sri Lanka. Then they were afraid because of the dying of the monks in the future. In the cases like these disasters, you think of the COVID-19 like that, they had a problem. That's why they decided to write down. They decided to write down. Not only, on the other hand, it is the monks who lived during that time, not normal monks. They are extraordinary monks in practicing the Buddhism. They cannot be compared to the qualities of the present society monks. They were well versed in the Dhamma. They were excellent experts in practice and keeping the doctrine in the mind. They all together gathered and recited the Dhamma and decided to write down. In this manner, they kept all the doctrines. Not only that, after that, they began to start to write the commentaries, then sub-commentaries to explain the difficult points of the Dhamma to the canonical texts. So we have the pure canonical text, then to explain the difficult points, because their explanation also are in their memory. They had to write down all those things as well. That's why they decided to write down the commentaries as well after that. Then the commentary also got the most difficult points. Then they decided again to write the sub-commentaries. Later on to the sub-commentaries also, we had explanation. In this manner, the monks, Banaka Parampara, gathered and decided to write and let the future generation to see the doctrine of the Buddha in written forms. I think that would be enough answer to that one. And any other question? Okay, during the time of during the Buddha's time, there were many states and languages used between kingdoms. How did the Buddha expound his Dhammas to different tribes and kingdoms? How did Arahant Mahindra communicate with the King Devanampiyatissa? It's also language. Actually, I am so happy to say that because my master thesis is based on this one. So, you know, I am referring to linguistic, socio-linguistic matter. You know the lingua franca. Lingua franca means the link in language. Link in language means everyone can speak that. Everyone can speak that. Pali is the lingua franca language in India. Pali is the lingua franca language in India. It was spoken by everyone. It's a Prakrit dialect. It's true. When we go to America, when we go to British, when we go to Canada or Australia, there are different accents and different dialects within the same language. Different words to introduce the same thing. So we have to learn. In case of a lingua franca language, we know how to use the synonyms, antonyms, and other socio-linguistic features, as it's a linked language spoken by everyone in the country. For the bowl that we used to have the food as monks, it was told in another province, Patta, Piscina. In this manner, there are a lot of talks, but when they talk, when the monks communicate with the people by action, with the society, with the export to the natural speakers, they can understand. That's a Park Creek dialect. On the other hand, Venerable Arahant, after coming to Arahant Mahinda, after coming to Sri Lanka, Sinhalese language was a rich language. Sinhalese language was created by Pali and Sanskrit. Pali is known as father of Sinhalese language. Sanskrit is considered as the mother. So, if we say Pali Raja, Sanskrit also the same word when it comes to Sinhala, Raju, the same word Raja. So, without the Pali language, if someone tries to talk about Sinhala language, that is Sinhala language, no life. No life. So, as it was the neighbor country on the other hand, early people had contacts with business, with travel, and also maybe Indians might have known what language speak in Sri Lanka. Maybe Arahant Mahinda had a knowledge in mastering Sinhalese language and Pali language. That's why specifically he has been appointed as the speaker for Sri Lanka and the missionary leader for Sri Lanka by Emperor Asoka. They had such kind of things. Do you think Indonesia got Bhasha Indonesia, Malaysia got Bhasha Malaysia, but little bit differences you can understand. That's the manner. In this way, it was a socio-linguistic matter about a linking language, not a second language. It's a linking language. Maybe, perhaps, most probably second language can be a linking language, like English today. English is a linking language to Sri Lanka. To Malaysia, it's a second language. To Singapore, it's an official language. Australia, Canada, it is the national language. Britain and America, it's the native language. To some countries, Indonesia and Maldives and Arab countries, it is an auxiliary language. Auxiliary language means that is the language you use in the library just for reading only. Just for reading only. Linking language means you need to contact judiciary, you need to contact the business, you need to contact tourism, you need to contact economy, you need to contact executive powers, legislative and constitution and the foreign deals, diplomatic service, everything. You use the linking language. Pali was the linking language during that time in South Asia. I think that is why Arahant Venerable Maha Mahinda, the second Buddha of Sri Lanka, could communicate with our Majesty. I think that's enough for that question. I would like to share the merits. By the power of these merits, may you be well and happy. May you be free from suffering. May you be able to understand the doctrine of the Buddha. May you be able to cultivate your and enhance your skills to preach and give the Dhammadana, and at the end, may you be find peace, happiness, and finally attain supreme state of Nibbana. May all the deities receive these merits. May they be also attain Nibbana. May all the departed ones receive these merits. May they also be able to attain Nibbana. May all the beings in the world attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහින්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහින්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ධම්ම දේශනං ආකාසට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවානාගා මහින්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු මං පරන්ති සාදු සාදු සාදු